Yeah, thanks. Oh my goodness. That is very, very overexposed. I am almost translucent. I am so white. Let's peel that back, shall we? There we go. There we go. Wow. Let's make that. All right. The so I use a C920 Logitech webcam, and in OBS, doesn't matter if it's Streamlabs or just straight up OBS. The exposure setting on the camera doesn't save. Doesn't matter what you do. So every time I start stream, I have to remember to go in and manually configure the exposure setting off auto and set it up manually. Otherwise, I look totally blown out from too much light. And so the problem is that if you don't have the key light blasting a pretty strong light at me, then the problem that you have is that any white imagery from the monitor in front of me will change the lighting quite dramatically on me. So these are the things you learn when you start to stream regularly and you buy better gear, is you get all these new sort of first world streamer problems. And so that was the first world streamer problem that I discovered last week when when I got the new key light and stuff, was every time I would change the camera, I'd change the screen to a different browser or a new window or whatever, I would look like somebody was shining a floodlight at me. So there you go. Like I said, first world streamer problems. Speaking of first world streamer problems, well, not a problem actually. I don't know if you keep up with any of the goings on and toings and froings. My back is really bad today. This new Secret Labs chair needs to turn up because my back is just shot. If you're watching the Secret Labs, and I know you're not, hurry up. I need my Evo Titan. I ordered it weeks and weeks ago. I've been patient. Yeah, so I don't know if you keep up with any of the stuff that goes on in Streamerland, but today, you're too young to have bad back, bro. That's not good. You're getting old. My guy. Oh, my guy. But yeah, I was watching today. I was just flicking through Twitter, and I saw a notification that that Dr. Lupo, one of the biggest streamers on Twitch, and as Devin Nash refers to him, one of the Twitch OGs, has switched from Twitch to YouTube gaming. So he's going to stream exclusively on YouTube now, which is really fascinating. YouTube hasn't pinched a streamer in a long time. I think Courage was kind of the last one, Valkyrie. I think they were the last ones that YouTube went out of their way to pinch. It's quite fascinating. It's quite a fascinating piece of marketing. Lupo is, I'm not a huge fan. Like, nice guy, reasonably entertaining, all that sort of stuff. But if I had a website that did streaming, he would be probably number one on my list of people I would want on my platform. He's a lovely human being who does an immense amount of work for charity. He is genuinely a decent person, and he's well respected, and he is wholesome, and everything you can think of to say about a person, that guy is that. I would want him anchoring my site. And so the fact that YouTube were able to pinch him away says a lot. And to his credit, when he described why he left to go to YouTube, primarily, I respect it. He said he got a bag, that he got an amount of money that sets him and his family up for the rest of his life. I respect that, because he's a guy who has raised over $10 million for charity on his stream. So this is not somebody who is, some kind of streaming gutter snipe who is trying to cash in at every turn. It's not that. So the fact that this dude straight up said the main reason is money, they made him a lucrative offer. You have to ask yourself, how did Twitch let that happen? So the reality is then that Twitch obviously just weren't prepared to go to the number he wanted them to go to, which is interesting. Devin Nash also pointed out that Summit and Lyric are represented by the same people as Lupo. And if you've ever dealt with anybody, any kind of group like talent like that, I have actually done some of that. Not streamers or anything, but actual acquired a business, and we had to get the staff to sign, and it was a package deal, so we need to get them all. And that's how their management will put that to YouTube is, hey, do you want all of our people? So there might be more leaving Twitch, which is quite fascinating, because that's the top end of Twitch. When people like Lupo leave, potentially a Summit or something like that. When those people leave, it's bad news. Somebody said today that there were times where Dr. Lupo represented 0.5% of all viewers on Twitch. That's insane. Like, when you think about how big Twitch is, for one person at any given stage to represent like 0.5% of the total number of viewers is nuts. So he's a big fish. Some of his other rationale was pretty interesting. How he said, there were other opportunities on YouTube to make recorded content and not just be live. I think that's the way streaming is going to go. Streaming is not going to be a career in 5 years, I don't think. I mean, it'll still have a place, and there will be people who stream, but streaming will be, I would suggest, most content creators' second job. Their primary job will be content. The big ones. You're already seeing that, right? Most significant content creators now have other channels, and streaming is their community. And the thing about that is, how do you do it every day for that length of time for any reasonable period? So I'm somebody who can talk to working long hours in jobs that you really enjoy, right? I would routinely, in my late 20s, early 30s, I would routinely work 70, 80-hour weeks, six days a week, maybe even more. When you factor in there's 168 hours a week and you're spending 80 at a job, that's a lot of time. And when you're in the mix, you don't notice it. You don't see it. You don't notice that you're in the mix. You don't notice that you're spending 80 hours a week there because it's kind of a passion, hobby, and all kinds of crazy. But eventually you do notice, and you work out at some point that it's not sustainable to do that for any length of time. At some point in time, you just kind of come to the realization that you can't work 60, 80 hours every week. It's not worth it. And if you're a streamer and you're what did somebody say? Hassan Piker. I think the dude spends 250 hours a week, 250 hours a month streaming. Can't really do that when you're 40. It's just not sustainable. Very, very few people. Let me rephrase that. And, and if you're a woman, right? If you're a female streamer, it's even less sustainable. Like, realistically, even at my age right now, if I had an unlimited pool of funds and I decided that I wanted to stream 60 hours a week, and that's 250 hours a month, I could. But if you're a 35-year-old woman who has aspirations of family, no shot. No shot. Kids don't, and it's all very, that's very sexist. Kids don't raise themselves. Right? And so when I see young female streamers making their money, I'm like, good for you, man. Make all the money now. When you see Valkyrie and Pokimane and Amaranth, and you see those young ladies absolutely making pots of money, good for them. Because there will come a time in the next 10 years where they will have to slow down if they want to have the traditional, and I don't even mean traditional as in, they stay home and their husband work, like none of that shit, it's silly, right? But I mean traditional in the sense that they want to have a relationship and they want to have children. Those young women will have to slow down. They won't be able to put in the hours they're putting in. Just physically, they won't have that time. And so, good for them. Get your bag. Put it in the bank. I heard Pokimane say a couple weeks ago, she has 7 figures in the bank. Good for her. Awesome. I wouldn't begrudge the young lady any of it. She deserves it. She's earned it. Good for her. And she should save it because while Dr. Lupo can choose to slow down, can choose to spend more time with family, he actually doesn't have to. The basic biology of having a family doesn't require him to do it, but it would require a young woman to do it. And just the natural way that we structure ourselves in society, he could potentially not slow down if he didn't want to. I don't know why you wouldn't want to. Like, you start to make it, it's kind of a weird scenario for most normal people. And I use that phrase normal people because there are abnormal people. But normal people will get to a point of financial success where they will recognize that they don't need to hustle as hard. They don't need to grind as hard. And so therefore they can spend the more time with their family. And so they start to trade money for experience. And most people do that. And it usually happens in your 30s at some point. You kind of start making that trade. And then it accelerates in your 40s. And when you get to your 40s, the trade changes again. And it's less about maybe spending time. And I don't mean it in a weird way, but it's less about spending time with your family and more about enjoying your own time. So the time you spend with your family, but also by yourself, you cherish that time more. And so you tend to want to slow down when you're in a financially good place. When you're in the blender financially, you don't get that luxury, right? My parents didn't get the luxury of slowing down in their 40s or 50s, right? They just had to get up every day and go to work. That was the shit show their life was financially. So, it is what it is. But I think other people, when they become more financially set, they get to make that trade. And most people do. Some people don't. Like I've worked with people over the years who make 7 figures a year and spend 60, 70 hours a week at work, never see their kids, never see their wife, never see their family, never go on if they go on vacation, it's usually some kind of weird experience vacation where it's not really just chilling out and enjoying time with your family. It's kind of this, I don't know, kind of crazy heli skiing or some shit. So yeah, but most normal people start to make those trades when they get older. And, but what you're seeing now is some of these, you're seeing a well-balanced person like Dr. Lupo. Hey, Evan, how are you, bud? You're seeing a well-balanced person like Dr. Lupo who sort of stands back and says, well, I'm going to make that trade now, right? In my 30s, I'm going to make that trade. That's smart. And he's also got more money than he knows what to do with now for the rest of his life. So good for him. I encourage him to do that. I encourage everybody to do that. But it'll be interesting to see what happens. If YouTube, I think what YouTube are doing are really smart. They're signing people to exclusive contracts who fit a certain demographic and a certain behavioral pattern that YouTube, I think, wants it to represent its brand. So if you look at Courage JD, if you look at Valky Ray, if you look at Dr. Lupo, they're a lot of the same kind of people. I don't know. That's not like, well, they're, upper middle class white people or what. No, it's not that. They are generally pretty decent people with a good, wholesome behavioral pattern over a long period of time, and they attract a certain demographic, a slightly older, more mature demographic. It's quite clever. I think Fwiz, who runs YouTube Gaming, I think he's pretty smart about that. Well, that's right. They're established streamers who are not offensive, advertisers enjoy, and they Nobody would ever be ashamed to be on the same platform as Valkyrie. Nobody would ever be ashamed to have their video appear next to a Courage JD live stream notification. But would you say the same about XQC? Probably not, right? Like, he's sitting there playing slot machines on Twitch. I don't think YouTube want that. Well, YouTube wouldn't let that happen on their platform, right? You start gambling on YouTube, they just punt you. They just punt him. Would you want to be, YouTube is fantastic in the sense that people who, trying to think of how to phrase it. Whenever something comes up that's at all controversial, then YouTube always will side with their advertisers because it's in Google's best interest to do that. That's what Google want, right? Google don't want advertisers, and it's why hot tub streams and gambling streams and all that other crazy on Twitch were so toxic, because it just makes real advertisers say, I don't want anything to do with this. I don't like gambling generally, Evan. I think gambling is just a form of degeneracy. I don't like it at all. So I don't even hide that bias. But I think on Twitch it's even more gross because Twitch skews younger. So people like my son, who's 17, 18 years old, their Twitch's primary audience. And, things like loot boxes and shit, Pokemon cards, they're gross. They're gross. It just creates a generation of people who think gambling is an investment. And so that's just going to lead to a life of complete and utter misery. And for what? Amazon doesn't make any money at that. Why are Twitch letting that happen? It's so dumb. It's so dumb. Hot tub streams were the other one. Like, I don't care. I genuinely don't care. But it's not Twitch's demographic. It's just not. Parents of 15-year-old boys and 16-year-old boys who are Twitch's demographic, their parents don't want them watching that. They just don't. So I just look at it and think, if you want to run a hot tub stream, go to OnlyFans. Get your kid off, sit in the pool, do whatever. Knock yourself out. I'm not going to judge you. I don't care. Quite the opposite, in fact. I'm actually an ardent supporter of sex workers. Like, people who've known me for years, for decades will tell you. Two things about me are that I've constantly, since I was a very, very young person, I've constantly been very supportive of things like gay rights. I just think what people get up to and what they do in their privacy of their own home is their business. It's not for me to judge. Good for them. Live your best life. And other people will tell you that I've always had this undying belief that, sex work is work. It's a job. It's somebody's willing to pay for it and somebody's willing to do it, and nobody's being exploited, and people are entering into these transactions freely and willfully and with knowledge of the risks and repercussions. It's none of my business. It's none of the government's business. Just stay out of it, right? I have an absolute loathing for human trafficking. So I think anytime that women, particularly women, are exploited for sex work, I just have no tolerance for it. Zero. The people who are doing it, you take them, you put them on a rocket ship and you shoot them into the sun. I have no time for it. They're gross. But if a woman or a man, I don't care, decides that they want to provide sexual services for money, that's their business. Pay your taxes, stay safe, do your thing. I don't care. It's up to you. You square that circle yourself. So those are things that I kind of ardently believe in. So that's why when people talk about hot tub streams, and I say I'm not supportive of it on Twitch, it has nothing to do with what they're doing. It's just not the right place for it. And it's not the right place for it because that's not what the audience is there for. And I've heard people say, oh, well, they're just in their hot tub, or they're just in, let's be frank, they're in an inflatable pool in their living room in a bikini. Oh, well, you're sexualized. No, I'm not. They're sexualizing themselves. And to suggest otherwise is disingenuous. It's gaslighting people, basically. You're saying that I'm crazy for thinking that a person sitting in their living room on Twitch in their bikini in a pool, an inflatable pool in their living room, writing people's names on their body for money isn't sexualized content. You're crazy. But you're telling me I'm crazy for thinking it is. Like, don't gaslight me. I don't have time for that. Right? I don't. So I don't have a problem if they want to do that. But I just think on a platform that has traditionally and for the most part continues to target young people, that's not the place for it. And it's disturbing and somewhat disgusting that Amazon allowed Twitch not to crack down on that. It's representative of some of the poor culture within Amazon. We talk a lot about culture in businesses, and Activision and Blizzard have copped a lot of grief, and so has Ubisoft, for fairly toxic work environments, rightfully so. But to think that Amazon allowing Twitch to have gambling and hot tub streams on that platform when they know that a large portion of the audience are minors, that's gross. That's a form of toxic management and toxic culture at a company. Why are they allowing that? Why don't they draw a hard line? And the general consensus was that Twitch were just afraid, in particular around the hot tub streamers, they were just afraid that there'd be backlash to say that they're making young women out to be... It's so stupid. It's so dumb. And anyone who supports that line of thinking is ridiculous. They're a ridiculous person. It's just so dumb. But I heard it a lot. And I listened to it. Unlike a lot of people, I listen to things that I don't agree with, because I want to understand why the person thinks that. And I came away with people who put forward that point of view. I came away with the feeling that it allows them to perpetuate their feeling that they're constantly the victim. So if you misbehave, but you can rationalize somebody's response to that in such a way that that turns you into the victim still, that they're somehow misrepresenting you, that's modern culture. People like that. People like to be the victim. We talked about this at a Shooting the Shit with Sean episode recently. We live in an era where victims are heroes, which is stupid. And so a lot of that stuff is just gross, and it should be stamped out. Doesn't mean people shouldn't be able to do it. It just means they shouldn't be able to do it there. You know, go to the shopping center. No shirt, no shoes, no service. don't get to walk around the shopping center without footwear. You don't get to walk around without a t-shirt on. And it has nothing to do with anything other than you just don't get to do that. There are rules. There's decorum. Those things are important. It's the glue that keeps society together. It's the lubricant that makes the machine work. Everybody follows a set of rules. And they're not onerous and they're not arduous. They're just simple. And it all goes to shit when people decide that they don't like the rules and shouldn't apply to them specifically. And if you try and apply the rules, they become the victim. That's garbage. It's garbage mentality. In society, we should be brave enough to call it that more. But bravery is in short supply unless you're a victim. Then you're brave. That, again, doesn't make any sense. But there you go. There you go. We got lost on We went from Dr. Lupo signing a contract with YouTube to rant on hot tub streamers. But there you go. Teach their own. But it's been interesting with YouTube. I mean, just speaking personally about it, I'm pretty happy with the decision to stream on YouTube. I've been pretty happy with that. It's not perfect. It's been at times more technically challenging than probably it should, although I did see today that OBS 27.1 is coming and the integration with YouTube will be improved. But I knew that because I followed the GitHub polls, so I knew that was coming. But I saw Fwiz wrote about it as well, so it's definitely coming. I pretty much already have that though with Streamlabs OBS, so I'm not too fussed by it. But yeah, I think the reasons why I wanted to use YouTube over Twitch were that what I really want to do over the next little while is create other non-streaming content. So more videos and series and things like that. And then the streams kind of complement that. And so August was sort of my second full month of streaming. And I had set some goals for myself. Hold on a sec. Let's bring those up. So my goals for stream and everything else, I had set some goals and the only ones I didn't, so I smashed my watch time hours goal. I achieved 122, almost 123% of that goal. And I achieved 107% of my view goal that I set for myself. And 130% of my stream goal, but I just didn't deliver any of the videos that I wanted to do. I got 0, and I didn't hit my goal for new subscribers. And I think those two were linked. My point of view was I would produce more video content, and then that would probably be the thing that drives more subscribers. But I didn't achieve that, and I just didn't do the work. So don't do the work, don't get the rewards, don't get the cookies. So for September, I'm resetting that goal. I've set slightly higher goals around things like watch hours and stuff like that, but I'm going to go back to the goal of produce content. I actually spent, which was good. It's the first time I've done it. Let's move this back a bit. I probably spent about 3 or 4 hours on the weekend laying out my plan and ideas for how I want to run the YouTube channel of which the stream is a part. So that's pretty good. I was pretty happy with what I managed to put on paper. People who know me know that I like planning and I like to have a structure for things, and I like to set achievable goals and targets and then work in small portions to achieve those goals, because it's the whole, if I improve 1% a day, that 1% compounds. I do have something on planning. Well, just let me see if I can find it. I created something. Wow, where did I create that? Bugger. Is it in Dropbox? Sorry, I'm just going through my internal stuff. Email. Newsletters. Let me see. No. So I actually have a whole plan on it, on how to plan. I have a whole so a few years ago, when I was doing it's quite fascinating if you read some of the stuff that I wrote in 2016, for example. So I'm just reading. I had a paid newsletter, and it wasn't like an email newsletter, although I promoted it mostly via email list. But I had a paid physical newsletter, so people would pay every month, and then once a month they get this physical newsletter in the post. And issue number 2, February 2016, the title of the newsletter is "The Name of the Game is Consumption," and the whole newsletter is about creating content that creates engagement. So engagement with your customers is the cornerstone of your online business. And then I talk about the Pareto Principle. So if you, and this is true, if you write a book, and let's just say 100 people buy the book, the 80-20 rule, the Pareto Principle applies. 80 people out of the 100 won't even read the book. They won't even crack the spine. And then 20% will at least start the book. And then if you apply the Pareto Principle again to those 20%, so then what you have is 16 people will read it and do nothing. So of the 20 people who read the book, 80% will read it and do nothing with it. And 4 people out of the 20 will actually apply what they learned. So there's this 96-4 percentage, and that's everything. And then I talk about, structuring engagement, onboarding as an engagement tool, personal relationships, all kinds of things. So that's just one of the newsletters. I'm just trying to find the one that I created about, no, that's about persistence. These were expensive too. Entrepreneurial strategy. Hold on, let me see. Nope. Let me see. It's hard to traffic. That was a popular. I think I made on that one issue of the newsletter. I think I made like $5,500 or something in back orders of people who weren't subscribers, but then ordered that particular issue. No. So that's August. I have, let me see if I might have to just dig this out. Oh, anyway, there's, I don't know. I think there's 25 or something issues of this physical newsletter that I created. And one of them is all about, all of, my entire planning principles. So how I go about planning, and actually more about how I get stuff done. And it was about simple rules. There's a good book called Simple Rules. Where is it? Simple Rules by Donald Sull. That's it. Where are we? So, hold on. Here. There's the Amazon link to that book if you're interested. So that's a good book. It's dense. Like, it's not the most riveting book one will ever read. You're not going to sit there and go, "Oh my God, I can't stop turning these pages." But it is a good book. I'm going to have a Twirl Breakaway bar. This stream is not sponsored by the Cadbury's company, just so we're clear. And then I'll finish my decaf coffee. And then we'll get into grinding out that Obsidian gun. So that's a good book. And it kind of is, it's a principle that I follow for most things, that basically you get stuff done by defining what it is you're trying to achieve, setting a measurable target, and then figuring out how you can create a process of doing things that attack that target. So I always use the example that if I wanted to write, 200,000 words a year, then the easiest way for me to do it was to write between 750 and 1,000 words a day, every single day. And then at the end, I would be guaranteed that I'd have written that amount, because just by following the process, I get to the goal. In a lot of ways, goals are for losers. Smart people form habits. And habits that get them to destinations and outcomes. Losers set goals. Because goals don't mean anything. For most people, it's easy to set a goal. Just hopefully this year, gyms will be open. Go to the gym on the 2nd of January. Then go back on the 2nd of February. The delta between the volume of people there, that's the loser. That's the loser quotient of society. Because those people who turned up on the 2nd, they set a goal. And the people who turn up still on February 2nd, they created a habit for themselves. So success is kind of predicated on habits. There's lots of cliches around that too, right? Success leaves clues and all that stuff. It's all strangely quite true. It's usually pretty accurate. If you look at people who are serially successful, you'll often find patterns of behavior. And I don't mean people who are successful once and then parlay that into multiple successes, because that's different. The link doesn't work. Hold on. The link doesn't work. Oh, crap. What's going on? Hold on. The link doesn't work. Oh, crap. What's going on? Hold on. I've broken something here. Okay. It doesn't work. Hold on. Just let me go to the browser. This is all gone a bit... Hello? It's all gone a bit weird, champ. It's all gone a bit squirrely at the moment. Oh. Yeah, I've lost my ability to type in chat in my second window. I have no idea why. Hold on. Oh, there it goes. It's come back. Yeah, that's a weird one. I'm not sure why it's not working. Hold on. Let me just see if it's... What's it doing? It's not working. Hold on. Oh. Well, that's really unusual. Okay, stand by. That was weird. I think I figured out what went wrong here. One sec. Come on, man. Okay, I think I figured it out. What? Okay, hold on. Okay. There we go. No, here it is. Here it is. For some reason, something didn't work, and it was trying to send you back to the stream. I'm gonna have to turn this off. It's blinding me. There, that link works, and that takes you to a page where you can buy any of the versions of it. I'm a big fan of audiobooks. Audiobooks are great because for a while I've gotten lazy. I'll have to nip that shit in the bud. But what I was doing for a long time over the years is I would go out for a walk, and then I just download an Audible book, And then I would listen to a book on my walk. And so over the course of a couple of weeks, I would listen to several books while I was walking. And it makes the walk go faster and you learn more because you're kind of in a captive situation. So that's a pro tip. If you have Audible and you do walks or you do any kind of exercise or anything, listen to a book while you're doing it. Don't listen to podcasts. Podcasts are usually kind of trash. Most podcasts aren't very good. Let's be brutally honest. All right. I think what we're going to do now, the book is expensive. What's the book cost? $10? How much does the book cost at Kindle? What? $65? No. No. What are you talking about? Hold on. The book is $25 US from Amazon. Is it? Hold on. Is it just expensive in Australia? Just let me check. Hold on. No, man. Oh, the hardcover. Oh, yeah. Well, hardcover books are expensive, bro. They're expensive to make. Get the Kindle version. I can't even remember the last time I bought a Dead Tree version of a book. Like, it's either Audible files or Kindle. I've been doing that for so long now that I can't even remember the last time I bought a Dead Tree. So it's usually all just electronic in some form. I had a Kindle when the Kindle first came out. I picked one up. Why a dead tree? Well, if you think about what paper is, paper comes from trees. So they're dead tree books. Right? All of your books are hardcover. Yeah. I don't know. I find with books that that's cringe. Fair enough. I find with books that there are some that I'll reread them, but I would rather not. Well, some people, that's right. So if you collect books, then by all means, there are people who have, book collections and stuff, but that's not my thing. I read a book and put it aside, and I might go back to it again at some point in the future. But generally speaking, I'll probably read a book and never read it again. But then again, on my phone is every single book that I've read or bought in the last, 20 years almost? And so if I'm sitting on a bus, or I'm sitting at a cafe, or I'm sitting in a park, and I want to read a book, you collect hair. That's like calling it a dead tree. If that's cringe, collecting hair kind of is a little bit weird. That's I know you're playing around. I'm not. Yeah, it's so I kind of think of books a little bit differently. I tend to think of books as less of a collectible and more as a consumable. And when you say you collect games, does that mean that you go to, like, I don't know, depending on where you are in the world, like a GameStop or an EB Games if you're here in Australia, and like physically get a boxed copy? Because I haven't really seen a lot of that in the last few years. Like, you would have to go out of your way to get a boxed version of a video game now, as far as I can tell. Like, I couldn't, like, for example, Call of Duty Vanguard, if you wanted that for your PC, it'd be pretty rough to actually... Right, okay, so old school. Okay. I have a friend of mine who does stuff like that. He collects old computer parts. He collects old video game consoles, old cartridges, stuff like that. Right. Gotcha. I tend to collect nothing. I'm very much a Mary Kondo kind of person. If something doesn't bring me joy today, then it's probably not going to bring me joy tomorrow. So it's probably better just to get rid of it. Which is a very consumer-focused view of the world. But I tend not to buy a lot of crap. So it's 6 of one, half dozen of the other, I think. I'll tell you what did... You make an insulting joke. I didn't see your insulting joke. I did buy these guys. Oh, okay, fair enough. So those guys sit on my desk, and that's about the only collectibles I have. I tend not to bother with collectible things. I will be getting yeah, you don't really have to be rude. That's kind of unnecessary. I will be getting an Edge rated R pop at some point, but I don't know when. I just haven't got around to it. I think it's in the stores by my house, but because we're all locked inside, I don't get to go to the stores. And I suppose I could order it online, but part of the fun is going there and looking around. Debit or credit what? All right. Where are we at? Yeah, it's starting to get that way. I was singing the same thing. I was thinking the same thing. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Okay. We'll just yeah. That's just easier that way. We'll just clean that up. Why do people come on? Like, it's a fairly small stream, so why come on and just talk nonsense? It just doesn't make any sense. It's interesting. The moment you write like Call of Duty or Modern Warfare or anything about a chat, then you sort of, yeah, that's right, it did. But it's always when you have Call of Duty. I don't know how you get rid of. Okay. Where am I? This is kind of a pain in the ass, to be honest. Just an enormous pain in the ass to deal with these things. Anyway, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna focus on what I was doing. Over here. So this guy, I need 9 more matches. So hopefully we'll kind of get that knocked off now pretty quickly. I'm going to do performance mode. Why didn't that work? Oh, there we go. Performance mode. All right. Let's go. So hopefully we get better. We don't get the lag and stuff. 30 bombs. I need more than that. I'll probably need to get. I'd like to get sort of 40 plus 45 a game so that I kind of knock this off relatively quickly. That would be the ideal scenario. But we're kind of into sweat o'clock, so yeah, a nuke. Settle down. I'm actually tempted to buy a 5950X after yesterday's experience. I kind of thought if I get a higher end processor with more threads, it'll be able to do everything I want it to do. So I'm sort of tempted to do that upgrade. I was going to wait until sort of September, October. But, you know. Let's go.
Team deathmatch. Here they come. Attack.
Far out. I don't even know how I got up there. I don't even know how I got up there. I don't... There's no other team. Oh. Where is this other team? Why are they hiding in smoke? They have a trophy over there. Oh, he's laying down in his spawn. Oh, far out. Far out. What are they doing that they're able to... Fire shotgun. There it is. There it is. Sit down. Fire shotgun. Low skill people. Oh, you're in the corner hiding. I see. You're laying down in smoke. Holy crow. Get out of it. You're terrible with your fire shotgun, bro. Right in the face. Like that. Look at that. Right in your chops. And your buddy over here. Look at you. You guys are... Hit them. Must be. You're laying down in your spawn there, bro. Look at... You can bunny hop all you like. Oh, that guy. What? How did that person kill me? Just threw yourself in smoke. What? That guy, the guy who, it's bizarre how the guy who lays on the ground, the guy who's laying on the ground is getting kill streaks. There he is, look, he's laying down again. What a bizarre way to play this game. Look at, mate. You're what in the fuck? What? I don't understand. What is that? What is that? Does anyone know what that is? That guy, like... Was that a Wilson or something that he... Oh, it's a Wilson. Okay. Get out of it. Now, this kind of a team who play this way, generally speaking, when a team like this, what they'll do is after they're done all their kill streaks, they'll have a tendency to just... What? Wait, how does that guy know where you were? So now they're all just camping in the corners. Far out. Oh, fuck's sakes. Okay. Get out of here. It's pretty hard to imagine that we lost to these bunch of shitters. But that dude, Lieutenant Dan's legs and his buddy, they just laid in the spawn. Like, look at that guy. He just sat there the whole game just laying down. Like, what a horrible way to play. I mean, I don't really care, but because for the most part, they're just sort of target practice. But what an odd style of play. Good for them, I guess. This game does not make me rage for whatever reason. 144. So that game got me 3. Yes, guy. This game doesn't make me rage like Payload. I don't know what it is about payload, right? But payload is not fun. It's fun about 25% of the time. I'll tell you the one thing that has helped in the last week or so is changing my sensitivity on my mouse. I just kind of feel like everything is a little bit more fluid. I don't have to move my my arm as much. Okay, so we've got people who are hiding in this game too. Fire shotguns. Excellent. Good to see. Oh shit, I totally whiffed on that one. Okay. What's going on? What's going on here? Oh, fucking fire shotgun. So this guy, Quadzilla Bobby, sits in a corner as well. So some of these... And that guy uses a shotgun. Fire shotguns. Like, you're holding a place on the map that has no objective. Like, why are you sitting in that corner? What is the purpose? Like, holy crow. I don't really care about objectives. I don't... How do these people get kill streaks? I mean, I never seem to get a kill streak. Oh. Get out of it. What is that guy shooting me with? I don't see it. What is that guy shooting me with? He's shooting me with aim assist. They must be getting the they must be getting their kill streaks with objective points rather than kills. Because they're not getting enough kills to get. Just have to reload. I somehow spawned in their spawn. That guy shot me and didn't even aim at me. His like, whoa, what are you doing down there, bud? Imagine being the guy who shoots jokers. Like, imagine being that guy. You're running around the map with a joker. How did that guy land that grenade so well? Oh, here we go. Look at, oh, these guys have thermal scopes. Ooh, that's what winning looks like. Oh, I didn't see that guy there. Just spawned in front of his fire. Oh, you're hiding. Wow. Your controller helps you move well, bud. Okay, so they're... Oh, that guy's hiding. Has he put a deployable shield in the middle container? Oh my god. Holy crow. I ran out of bullets. They're just lining up for you. Oh. What gun does that? What gun is that those people are using? Because I saw that a whole bunch today in Payload as well. Like, I wish I had a controller so I wouldn't have to aim with that rifle. What? What a... Oh my god. They're sitting down there in the corner shooting jokers. I don't know what that one is. See you tomorrow, Jason. Yeah, it might be a. It might be, but I've been seeing it in. I've been seeing it a lot. Like we saw it a fair bit, and you basically it just kills you. Like it only needs to hit you once or twice, and then you're dead. So it might be the LMG. I tried unlocking the RAL. How did I go? I should have got 3 more. What did I? The only problem. Oh, okay, I did get 3 more. The only problem with that game, for me, is I got a bunch of grenade kills because they kept all sitting in the corner together, and I kept being able to. The guy looks like Boba Fett. That's kind of neat. MP5 at 30. 10mm just got a buff. No, it's a long barrel. I don't know. It's a long barrel gun. It's a strange looking thing. And they're using a monolithic suppressor on it. Okay. Do you reckon that's the MP5? I don't know, man. It looks pretty long.
Team deathmatch. Enemy threat to the AO.
What are you doing? I ran out of bullets. I hate that skin. Those are 2 skins that I absolutely can't stand. Is the shirtless guy with the tattoos, and the pedo skin with the blue jacket. It looks like he's trying to invite a small child into his car. Oh. What did he shoot me with? Shotgun. I like how they drop shot. I think their drop shots are funny. Because most of them are... They've already shot you when they drop. Oh, come on, man. Hit the O button. How are you able to shoot me like that when I was shooting you first? Oh. Come on, guys. So now they're camping in a couple of different corners. Why do I keep picking this shitty gun up? So that dude, Gun Muscles, or whatever his name is, he has to die. Chopper gunner. Oh, come on, man. Why do I keep picking up these? Another chopper gunner? Oh, come on, man. Like, if they... What a load of shit, man. You just ruined the game with that shit. Far out. I just... Okay, so... You, in your pedo skin, have to be blocked because you just... bring in chopper gunners and you ruin the game for everybody. Just don't understand why you feel the need to do that. Like, it's such a stupid kill streak in such a small map. Like, sorry, Gary the pedo, you have to go. Well, he's not there. Perfect. Excellent. Well, if he's in this lobby, I just have to back out because I'm not playing with those people again. I don't know why people use chopper gunners and white phosphorus. It just ruins the game. Yeah, they absolutely just ruin the game. There's no upside to it. Like, chopper gunners just ruin the game for everyone. And the problem with the chopper gunners is you just can't seem to kill it. Like, you know. That pissed me off, that game. I don't mind, like, the occasional VTOL or something, that's fine. Okay. I almost ran into that. My guy. That guy walked right past me. Like, am I in the bot lobby or something? Or is the game kind of... Is the game kind of trying to reward me for having to tolerate that last game? What are you doing? Look at you people. What is wrong with you? What? That was like the longest lasting stun in the history of stun grenades. They must have like hit me in the head with it. Oh, here we go again. These stuns that last forever. I have no idea what's going on. What? Where are they? Like, I've... Did that person... Oh, they had a... That idiot planted double claymores down there. Oh. Look at... What? What is this guy? What are you doing with the throwing knife, you idiot? Just stop it. Oh my goodness. Is he up there? Oh, of course he is. Okay. The problem is these guys are so... I literally... Oh my god, with the stuns. This is... I feel like I'm actually being hit. This is ridiculous. Like, what is that guy's move? What is he doing? Like, going and sitting in there with a... Oh. That person in the rose skin who plants claymores, like... Oh, here we go again. It's them, like... What are they doing? Oh, for fuck's sakes. Like, why are they hiding in that container? Like, I'm dying because I just want to go find out what they're doing down there. It doesn't make any sense. I've never seen anyone... I've never seen anyone play like this before. So this guy, 8Ball, suddenly toggled on his hacks, it looks like, because all of a sudden, that dude doesn't miss. Oh, okay. So that rat bag is just sitting there. Okay. Okay. I get it now. Oh, so my teammate has taken their little spot. Oh, I must... Okay. Oh no, not that gun. What happened? When do I get my... Oh my god, Sean. Holy shit, bro. Oh. Oh, come on. Oh, I'm back again with this stun. Look at this guy. Mate. 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 Yeah, that guy, 8-Ball, suddenly has, like, supernatural aim. And really didn't at the beginning of the game. Oh, far out. Yeah, that guy's toggled on the old hacks, I reckon. Oh. I must have gotten this. Oh. Oh. I'm not sure what's going on with these stuns, but holy crow, man, when I'm getting stunned now, I'm stunned forever. Hey, teammate. I don't know if engine owning is down. It was down for a while, but I don't know if it's been down recently. Yeah, this guy, 8-Ball, suddenly went from very mediocre player at the beginning of the game to all of a sudden can't miss a shot guy. Like, I should have got that Obsidian this time. Yes, there it is. There it is. We'll just back out now. There it is. yeah, it's always weird when somebody yeah. Oh wait, hold on. Preview. See, look at the Sean sticker. That's the move. When you're so awesome that the game gives you your own sticker, that's where you've... All right, let's actually let's do a better one than that. That's better. So, what are we going to do here? We're going to go to the Twitters. Not the Twitters. I don't know how much longer we'll do this, but let's self-promote. Close, and we'll go back to the game. So I now have that as Obsidian. I have the Psychovs as Obsidian. I've got the AMAX and the SPR. So what would I do next if I were to do something? Whoops. Nope. Weapons. MP5. So I need, what I need? I need hip fires. I need long shots. Well, I can't do that for the time being. Mounted kills. Ugh. Reloads. And without dying. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll play a game with the psycho or we'll play a game with the CX9, and I really want to do the Jack 12 and get the Jack 12 with fire breath and just kind of have it so that the next time some idiot runs around with a fire shotgun, I'll pull that out and just start blasting them with that. But maybe what I'll do is I'll do that another time. But until they bring Shoot House back, it's pretty hard to get gold on the guns, let alone Obsidian, because you can't do the long shots. But we'll do one CX9 with the Obsidian version at the very least. Because it kind of looks sick. Wow. Yeah. You're a shitter, bud. You go. Woof. Okay. So that guy is using a Jack 12. What? What is going on here? Oh. Okay. So that guy is very likely in the corner cheating. Holy shit, I spawned right in front of them. Oh, look, he's got an oh, for far out. Oh, dude, even stunned. Even stunned, I'm better than you. Fuck off. There's always one guy who decides to ruin the game with an idiot. And he's on my team, which just makes it worse. See, now there's multiple people running around with Jack 12s. It's always one guy who starts it. Oh, I didn't even see that guy there. There's always one guy who starts it. Oh, that was a body. Nah, shot. No shot. Look at this idiot with a stim. What is... I'm kind of at a bit of a loss here. Come on, guy. Look at him. Look, he shot his own feet. Look, he RPG'd his own feet. Oh. Oh, it's... Wow, this is what? Dude. What is that? What is that? Look at this guy. You're an idiot. Tears. No shot. No shot. This is just ass. How do they keep getting? So that dude is camping in the container without the flag? I don't... Okay. Okay. So there's one dude who just is... There's always one idiot with a Jack 12. It's this guy. You all. You're all just laying down in the container. That guy, all that guy does is stand at the back. I should have executed that guy. I've just decided now it's the Jack 12 time. If I see that guy again laying on the ground, I'm going to execute him. There's something not right here. That guy Aslan Latif, all he did the whole game, from what I could tell, was stand back in his spawn and throw grenades. just use a different weapon. Okay, so this I'm gonna use. Okay, we'll use the MP5, and we'll keep a Pila handy, so that if somebody brings up an attack helicopter, oh wow, that's a very. I've obviously built that to have a zippy ADS.
Domination. Defend the forward operator. We're taking Bravo.
Wow. What's going on? My bullets aren't registering. I was wondering what happened. Look, I'm shooting right through that person. Okay. We'll have to leave the game. Far out, man. That's crazy. That happens just so often now. There's where your bullets just go right through people. Because I was wondering what happened just before then. Like, I was shooting that person and they killed me, and it was like I didn't even land a shot. But obviously I was getting the no. Am I back in the same game? Probably. Okay. Holy shit. So this guy, Gamers, whatever, he just camps in the tag drop off. That's his move. So that guy's just camping A. So we have to kill him and get him out of that spot. My aim is not great at the moment with this. What are you doing? I didn't get a whole lot of time in that game. Oh, I guess I'm the hero. See, somebody dropped out very quickly. That's a good sign that that person was doing something a bit dodgy. How do I... Oh, look, it's a TTV person. TTV Star Command 115. That person actually does stream. That person does. Star Command 115 is a Twitch streamer. He's not streaming right now.
Domination. Capture and defend the objectives. Enemy in the target.
Wow, wait. What? I don't understand. I haven't seen a single person. How did that person survive? Fire shotgun, eh? I forgot I didn't have my Jack 12. How did that person know I was there? Wow. I always like it when they jump at the end of... They shoot and then jump. Oh, come on, why do you keep spawning me in the gas, you goddamn stupid game? Holy shit. Look at this. Look at this. Ah, of course. Oh my god. What the? How did that guy move so fast? Oh. That guy with the John Barilaro tag, on multiple occasions, that dude just has known where people are. Yeah, it's pretty interesting how he knows that. Sorry, John Barilaro. Oh, you're laying on the ground at B. What? What am I getting shot by? That guy again. I'm not quite sure how he continuously knows when you're somewhere that you hiding in a room. You're hiding in a container, and that guy always seems to know how to turn that right direction. Again, this guy just seems to know where everybody is on the map. It's always the same guy. Look at that guy. He's hiding in the middle container. Yeah.
Enemy precision airstrike.
So that one rat who hides, he's now dropping landmines. John Ballaro again. And that guy is just corner camping. Okay. Fire shotgun because they suck balls. Oh, hello. Fire shotgun, lowest skill player in the game. John Barlaro, you're a big giant cheater, mate. I think we've now concluded. I think we've now concluded that you're just a giant dirty cheater. You know where everybody is on the map. Yeah. Yep, John Barlaro is a cheater. See how he came out when that guy slid into the container? He had no idea that he was there, and he... So the douchebag who had the fire shotgun now has Kadashis. Fuck. I gotta hit some shots there. Same person. Where is this guy? Where did he go? So this guy drops mines and hides in containers. What a fun way to play the game. Oh, there he is, laying on the ground with a fire shotgun. How do you like that, man? My man. What a bunch of rats. What a ratty way to play this game. Oh, and they got a trophy down. Look, they put 2 trophies down. What a bunch of shitters. So we're back at this stage of the competition where somehow the other side now has all of the kill streaks again. So I don't know how this happens, but it's been happening a lot in Modern Warfare now, where people are like, they somehow managed to get 5. They got 5 whatever those are. 5 of those things. And we've just seen that a lot lately, where they're just sort of an endless supply of kill streaks. So I have a suspicion there's a new cheat out that's letting these idiots get, because that John Barlaro guy who now we have to block, he was cheating. He had walls, so we'll just block him. But yeah. Oh, please don't put me. Oh, that guy just is a rat. He just hides and sits in corners. He lays down in the spawn. So, again, this game gets at a point at like 9:30 at night where the game just ceases to be fun, because you get people who play like this. So instead of it being sort of just, you know, run around, shoot some people, have a bit of fun, you get people who are cheating, who are laying in spawn and just acting like clowns. It's just every night at this time of night, this game gets like this. It's kind of disappointing, really. And the problem is that it's actually Infinity Ward's fault, because a lot of the kill streaks and stuff shouldn't be in this game. They just shouldn't. They shouldn't be in this game. Like, fire shotguns shouldn't be in this game. And if I barrel stuff you with my gun, you don't get to kill me with knives. Like, just as a sort of a rule. fuck. Get out of it, shitter. There's nothing I could do there. Just in a bad spot. Fire shotgun, lowest skilled weapon in the game. There it is, fire shotgun, lowest skilled weapon in the game. Is there a dude in the... Look at you. You idiot. Get out of there. What? It's that guy. Shoot me sideways. He's the guy who's putting those things down. And now they're dropping gas grenades. Oh, that's ours. Yeah. Unfortunately, I have a job, so I can't really play this in the mornings. Yeah, get out of it, you shitter. Yeah. That guy shoot me sideways is a rat. He just sits there. How can I shoot you in the head and you get to kill me with a stick? Okay. So you're laying down behind some barrels. And you're just a rat. So that guy, Stamp Vico, lays down in spawn. What a horrible bunch of people to play with. It's just so, yeah, I'm done. I'm actually finished with them for the night. I don't know what to do. Like, I like playing this game. I really enjoy Modern Warfare, but you then just get to those kind of games where it's like back to back to back people laying in their spawn, that John Barilaro guy cheating. There's just tons and tons of people who don't play the game properly, right? And I don't care, like, if you want to. I don't understand why you would hide in a container and drop landmines at your feet, and then when somebody comes, shoot them with an RPG and shoot yourself. I think it would be a wise idea in future versions of this game if Infinity Ward didn't count kills with an RPG or any kind of a rocket where you blow yourself up. So if you die by your own explosion, you don't get recognition for the kill. That would be a good way to to manage that'd be a good way to manage people out of doing that, because I would envision that probably half the people who are doing it are just doing that to be assholes. Like, let's be blunt. They are happy to blow you and them up because they are blowing you up. So they think they're trolls. They're just actually assholes. There's a really good article about that somewhere I read this week. It was by a clinical psychologist, and she said that we used to people who think they're funny on the internet being trolls aren't trolls at all. They're what we used to, and she says they're what we used to call in the 80s assholes. They're just not nice people. And they're not trolls. They're just assholes. So you should just call them as such. It's not, what you're doing is not trolling. You're just being an asshole. And nobody likes you. And there's a reason for that. And so I think those people who shoot their feet with an RPG, I think some of them do it because they get credit for a kill. And if you're trying to level up your RPG or whatever, I guess that kind of makes some sense. It shouldn't do that, but okay, it does. But I'd say there's a significant portion of them who do it just to be dickheads. And so as a result, they're just bad actors. And you know, one of the best features of this game, one of the best features of Infinity Ward's Modern Warfare engine is the ability to block. Like, one of the most disappointing aspects of Cold War was the block feature didn't block people, or didn't bring, having a block list didn't bring up people before you went into a lobby. That it only blocked them from in-game chat, like text chat. Like, what's the point of that? And one of the ways that I use the block list is I see these players, and you end up playing in a couple of different lobbies with them, and they play in a way that you just don't want to play that way. Like, I just don't want to. I don't want to play with a dude who I don't want to play against somebody who just spends their whole match in Shipment laying down in a corner, or the guy who mounts the turret up on top of the sentry turret up on top of a container. Like, I just don't like playing with people like that. Or people who somehow seemingly have figured out how to get dozens and dozens of kill streaks. Yeah, the sentry turrets are a rough one, right? Because there was 5 in that one game tonight. And then yesterday we had a game where there were 8. And in a small map like Shipment, you can't have that. The game becomes basically unplayable. And you saw tonight, that one idiot put down the sentry turret, and then 2 of his teammates threw trophies. It's just no. So there's a whole third, like a whole corner of the map, and basically it's a quarter of the map is now not playable, which is fine, I guess, but it's not fun. I think that's been lost a little bit in video games. I think that's been lost a fair bit. Is games are meant to be fun. And there's a lot of mechanics and a lot of features and a lot of elements of some of these games, particularly the Call of Duty games, where there are parts of them that are just not fun to play. So when you have Shipment, which is a small map that everybody likes, it's everybody's favorite map, let's be candid, and the whole match is just kill streak after kill streak after kill streak, it's not fun. Especially if it's one team that has it all. And teams are just calling in VTOL after gunner, chopper gunner, after support helicopter, and you just sit there and you're like, well, this is unplayable, right? So I don't know. Is what it is, I suppose. But hey, as far as I'm concerned, I actually didn't send that tweet, which is kind of... Did I send it? Oh, no, I didn't. Well, that's stupid. I wrote a tweet with Obsidian and then didn't send it. But anyway, I still like Modern Warfare. I think that's the hard part, right? Is that for 2 hours at a night, the game's unplayable. Between 9:30 and 11:30, 12 o'clock, the game's just not playable because it's idiot o'clock. But between 6 and 9:30, the game's really good fun. I don't know what it's like before then. I'm busy with work and stuff. I don't have time, but I'm sure they'll release a new playlist for it this weekend, and that'll be ass, and then it won't be playable for another week. It was like the other week where one of the playlists, there was no shoot house and no Shipment, and it's like, well, it's not a lot of fun. Yeah, like I don't mind running around with a 1 KD and everybody in the map gets like 40 to 60 kills. Like, I don't have, like, that's fun. To me, that's a laugh. Like, that's good fun. Let's just run around, shoot each other in the head, right? Just have fun. That's a good game. But then you get to shitter o'clock and it's idiots throwing smokes every 30 seconds. Every time they respawn, they throw smokes and basically block out a quarter of the map. You get their idiot teammate who throws gas grenades into a different corner, and now half the map is gone. And then some bonehead, drops white phosphorus. Now the whole map is ruined. And then, you end up with a VTOL and a gunner chopper, or like a support, like a chopper, at the same time. It's like, well, just may as well at this point just back out. This is not fun. I think that would be good too, right? Like if one of the things I like about the way Sledgehammer is managing Vanguard is Sledgehammer are actually listening to people. They're kind of engaging in their own special little way. So with the alpha, there was lots of commentary, and they were like, yeah, okay, we hear you. We'll make that change, right? And everybody knows that, even going back previous years, whenever Sledgehammer have been involved in a game, they've listened. It's kind of part of their development culture, which is a good thing. And you sort of wish Infinity Ward would do that, because this game is awesome. Modern Warfare is awesome, but there are parts of the multiplayer that are just basically not fun. It's kind of fascinating, right? So I fall into casual, right? Like, I'm a casual player. I'm not I'm not interested in rank play or none of that noise, right? I just want to go and play multiplayer and the game be fun. And you listen to people who play, or you listen to people on Twitter and they think they're hardcore. And everything that they're suggesting for the average person like myself, who make up easily the bulk of the audience playing this game, the bulk of the people who spend the money, the game's not fun for us. When you listen to what they're suggesting, the game is not fun. The game would be just painful. They would think it's fun for them, but even they would stop playing. Because that's the thing about a lot of these guys who talk about, oh, I want this and I want that. They wouldn't play it. They'd say they want it. They'd play it for a little bit, and then they'd stop. It's like League play, right? They were all clamoring for Cold War League play. None of them played it. There were your hardcore people who play those kind of games, and they played it. But the average person didn't play it. Like, and even those hardcore fans, they didn't play it either. They played it for a bit, and then they stopped because it was hard. And I would read their stuff on Twitter. I would read it. It would be like, the SB, it's too hard. I get put into this league and I can't win, and because I don't have a squad, and then the excuses just start flowing. It's like, no, bro, it's not what it is at all. It's, you've asked for an unfun game mode, a hyper competitive mode that's punishing. It's not a video game anymore. It's a punishment. It's like why I don't play Tarkov. Tarkov is like a torture simulator. It's not fun. There are certain people who would enjoy that, but it's not fun for a casual player. I don't want to dedicate that much time to a video game. No shot. But yeah, in Modern Warfare, there's just a bunch of mechanics that are not fun. The number of kill streaks in Shipment is a classic example. There needs to be a cooldown, right? And if you die, so you need a cooldown too. So imagine I'm there, I throw a grenade, I get shot, I respawn, I now have full tacticals and lethals again. So you get these guys with smoke grenades and gas grenades, and they throw them, die almost instantly, get up and throw more, and the smoke and the gas from the last time they threw them are still there. And you watch them play. They spawn, and the first thing they do is just huck grenades. And oftentimes they're dead before not long after the grenades left their hand. And then they respawn somewhere else on the map, look at the opposite corner, throw another grenade. And now 2 corners are ruined. Kind of a weird one. So why not have a cooldown? You throw the grenade, your cooldown runs, and it doesn't matter if you die or whatever, you don't get to throw another one until that cooldown comes back. You could die 5 times, I don't care. You get your, 20-second cooldown or whatever. Kind of like with restock, right? Just use the restock counter. Give everybody restock, I don't care. But you have to have a cooldown period, and it has to survive through your life. So you die, you come back, you're still on time, you're still on cooldown. If somebody calls a VTOL from one side, they can't call a VTOL for a minute, 2 minutes afterward. The other team can call a VTOL before they can. So, you know what I mean? Because you see that in this game today. One of the games we were playing, they had a VTOL, a chopper at the same time. And as soon as we managed to get those down, they had another chopper and another VTOL. And it's like, okay, well, this ceased to be fun. We're now just pinned in our spawn shooting up, and they're just running around the map shooting us. And so it's not fun. And the other problem is that the launchers don't take those things out fast enough. How many times do you have to shoot a chopper? Like with a rocket? Like half a dozen times sometimes. It's ridiculous. 1 or 2 hits with a 1 or 2 hits, it should die. But they're not going to fix this game. But for next one, it should. The next one could be good. I see this day off Twitch trending. Whatever, man. I think some of the people on a day off Twitch, I think there was the young lady who organized it, or she started it. She had a list of things that she thought Twitch could do that were practical to make a difference. And some of it made sense. But when she started talking about having to use 2-factor authentication, sorry, lady. It's never going to happen. Twitch, Amazon aren't going to let Twitch do that. They're not. The whole point of Twitch is to onboard people into Twitch, and hopefully they link up Amazon Prime to their Twitch account. That's it. That's Twitch. That's the value of it. Twitch does 2 things for Amazon. Number 1 is it's a platform for them to get people to link Amazon Prime to something. And 2, it provided really clever encoding infrastructure that they needed a few years ago. So they've now consumed that. Amazon know how to do that. They don't need Twitch for that anymore. So those are the 2 things that Twitch deliver to Amazon, because they don't deliver profit. It's not a profit. It's not a profitable business. So they don't add value there. So saying that Twitch should require 2-factor authentication or some kind of hurdle for people to set up a new account, no, it's never going to happen. It's not. Amazon are not interested. Sorry. You've and you on Twitch, right? Twitch has some good tools. If you don't like hate raids, which nobody does, it's a horrible thing. Just go into follower mode for a while. And then if that doesn't work, if you're a partner or an affiliate, just go into sub only mode. People aren't going to spend money to hang shit on you. They're just not. Most of those people are just losers. So any barrier to them at all, they're going to stop. So like I said, I think the young lady who started it had actionable things that she could do. 1 or 2 of them weren't practical, but they were actionable. So good for her. But I see a lot of these people, oh, I'm going to take the day off Twitch. Okay. And then what? Okay. What else? What do you want specifically? Not, I want Twitch to do more. That doesn't mean anything. Devin Nash has a good point about this. And it resonates with me because you work in corporate. You see it all the time. I want Twitch to do more. Okay. Twitch will just put out a statement saying, oh, we hear you. Your complaints resonate with us at a very deep, visceral level. We understand that our platform is a place where we need to have diversity and inclusion, and that people who behave badly, they're not welcome. and we need to be more accommodating, and we're going to create a committee that will report back to the executive team every 3 months on what we're doing to combat this. And they've said dozens and dozens of words, and none of it means anything because you've not asked for anything. Do more. Do more doesn't mean anything. And they've not committed themselves to anything. They've not put a budget against it. They've not put time against it. And they've not put an outcome against it. There's nothing. There's no OKR. There's no objective and key result. There's nothing. So do more is a stupid idea. Do more is lazy. When you sit there and say, I want Twitch to do more, and that's the extent of what you think about the topic, don't participate in that thing. Don't. You shouldn't. Because you're not actually promoting anything. You've not actually given it any thought. You're effectively just virtue signaling at that point. I want to be part of something, and I want there to be something better. We all want to do something better, but better has to have a plan. Better has to have some actions. And there are people who in that movement have actionable things. Good for them. They should be listened to. But the people who are just, I'm taking a day off Twitch and I just want Twitch to do more and have no other thought beyond that, I don't take those people seriously. They're not serious people, so I don't take them seriously. I'm showing solidarity. No, you're not. You're virtue signaling. Right? You're sharing a hashtag so people will think you're a good person, but you're not actually contributing to a solution. It's the way of the world, right? Don't highlight a problem that you don't have a solution for unless you're more than willing and prepared to say, I don't actually know what the answer is, but I acknowledge that there's a problem here. It's one of the life lessons I got when I was probably in my mid-20s, mid to late 20s, and I ran across this older gentleman who had kind of become my work mentor. And I was very good, and still am, I'm very good at identifying problems. Very good at looking at something and saying, that's not going to work. And when I was young, I was exceptional at it. It was kind of almost a superpower. I could very quickly look at something and say, okay, that's not gonna fly. And when I was young, sort of that early part of your career in your mid-20s and your late 20s where you're just kind of moving forward, you're not mature enough to know some stuff. And so I would see something, I'd say, yeah, that's not going to work. And then I'd stop talking. And he said, okay, smart guy, why? It's like, well, it's obvious. And he says, it's not obvious to me. And so he would sort of make me explain myself. And then one day he took me to lunch, and he said, you're very bright. You are extraordinarily good at looking at situations and determining whether or not what's being done is the right course of action. But he said, you're not good at articulating what the actual approach should be. And he said, and the problem is you have an opinion. And anyone who knows me knows I have an opinion about just about everything, which is kind of sometimes a good thing and a bad thing about my personality, but we'll leave it at that. And he said, you have an opinion. He said, there's just something narcissistic about you where you can't be bothered to share what that opinion is. It's almost like telling the mob the answer is beneath you. And I laughed, and he said, no, I'm serious. He said, if you're going to identify a problem, you have to tell people what you think the solution is, or give them options for a solution, multiple solutions. And he said, and then the height of maturity for something like that is to stand back and say, I can see that there is a problem forming here. I'm not quite sure what the answer to this is yet, but I foresee a problem. And he said it gives people pause when you do that. He said it's actually easy to say, there's a problem here, and here's what it is, and here's how you should fix it. And he said that's some people don't like to be told they're not right, and that here's a better way of doing it. He said, so you'll get pushback. But he said very rarely will you get pushback when you say, I see a problem, I don't know what the answer is. And he said that's a good response. So if you know me personally, or you even watch some of these streams when we're just shooting the shit and rapping like this, I'll occasionally say things like that. I'll say, well, there is a problem here. I actually just don't know how to solve it, but I can see the problem and I can articulate what the problem is. And so that's the problem with a day off Twitch, is that some people, very smart people in that movement, were able to articulate what they thought some answers were. It doesn't mean their answers were very good. Some of them were good and some of them weren't. Some of them were not practical. And that's not uncommon either, because a lot of these people are young. And I try not to be harsh about young people because it sounds kind of stupid. It's like, okay, boomer. But young people often lack the life experience to put forward practical solutions to complex problems. They put forward simple solutions to complex problems because they don't sometimes understand the depth of the problem. And they lack the experience to know that there's other ways of looking at things. Or if they give you a solution to a problem and the solution is one where you point out a flaw in the solution and they don't agree with the flaw, then they dismiss that. And so they lack the maturity to say, well, there's other perspectives here that need to be taken into account. So the classic one is this day off Twitch. It's there needs to be like 2-factor authentication for people to create accounts. It's just never going to happen. It's not in Amazon's interests. So you can complain about it. You could say, well, but that'll solve it. Maybe, but it's not going to happen. So you may as well just go tap dance on the head of a pin. There's no chance that's happening. So come up with something better. Or accept that there is no solution to the problem. I'm not sure. I personally think the solution to that problem on Twitch is follower only and sub only mode. I think that's the answer to those things. Because they're just one-off events. They're very discreet in terms of, it's not like it happens to the same person 30 times a month, right? Like every day they stream, they spend 2 hours being hate rated. That doesn't happen. It's usually, a once or twice event to a small streamer. And to the small streamer, if you were rated by 200 people who were just coming in and you had 3 people watching your stream and 200 people turn up and start being shit weasels, that's pretty traumatic, right? That would make you not want to stream if it happened more than once, and especially if it was racist and just misogynistic crap. That would be very, very unwelcoming. So I appreciate why it can be quite traumatic for somebody. Like I empathize. But the answer to it, /follow, or whatever the command is on Twitch now for putting a chat in follower mode. Because if you're not an affiliate, you can't put it in sub only mode, right? And you do that for half an hour, 20 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever it takes, and then it stops. It's gone. Because those people aren't going to follow you. Like, very rarely. Because it requires a commitment on their part, right? It's easy to just get, stay in a chat, somebody raids, and you end up in this other chat. Like, you don't have to do anything except basically be the shit weasel, right? But if you actually then have to follow, now you've left a mark. And then if, you go to sub-only mode, well, those people are never going to pay money to do that. They're just never going to happen. So it peters itself out. That's the answer. And people don't like that answer because that answer doesn't require an organization like Twitch to do much. It's easy to make that problem Twitch's problem. It's a platform problem. Well, it is, but it isn't, right? It's a problem where you have a bunch of really stupid, shitty humans behaving like idiots. That's not a Twitch problem. That's just a problem. And so again, we come back to my take on that is, if you haven't put forward an actionable set of solutions that you think Twitch should enact, and you're just saying I want them to do more, you're not a serious person, right? Because if it's a serious issue, and it is a serious issue for some people, and you want to participate, then you should have to expend the energy and thought cycles to understand the problem and come up with solutions yourself, and have hard and fast opinions about what should be done. Because otherwise, it's just lazy. It's easy, and you're not paying it the respect it deserves. So, I don't know. I look at these things and I think I don't have a lot of time for online activism. And I have examples of that where I personally don't engage in online activism. I don't think it does anything. I think I've said it a few times, it's just a virtue signal. Most people participate in online activism so that other people see them doing it. So it ceases to be about the thing, and it's more about them getting kudos and recognition for being a good person. So, like, the classic example for me is in the state where I live, here in Australia, my member of parliament is the premier. She's an important person. And not only that, she's local. She lives here. I know where she lives. I could literally walk to her house. Take me 10 minutes. She lives 10 minutes from my house. I see her regularly. Before lockdowns and stuff, she used to take the bus to work. And some mornings you'd catch the bus with her. And if you're going into the city, and you'd see her on the bus and you'd say, "Hello, Gladys." And she'd say, "Hey, how you doing?" Ask you how you are. And people would, politely smile at her and wish her good morning, and, wish her well and move on. She was just another person who commuted on the bus. She just happened to be the premier of the state, 8.5, 9 million people. Most important job in the state. And nice lady. She was our MP when the current government was in opposition. She was our MP when they took office, and she was at first she was the transport minister, and then she became the finance minister, and then she became premier in the last sort of 10 years. And when she was in opposition, she would turn up at every school for for the school end of year awards, and she'd give a speech and she'd give out awards to a kitty, and she was always available to talk to. She was always in the community. She was always participating. Just a very, very good local member. And I've always said Gladys Berejiklian is the best local member I've ever seen in my life. In that's Canada and Australia. She's the best local member I've ever seen. She's just engaged in her local community. And even now, she has the most important, most difficult job in the whole state. And if you were to write her a letter, she would reply personally, because that's the person she is. If you're a local and you have a local issue, she will deal with you personally. And so a few years ago, when my son was in year 3 or 4, it became obvious that there was no local high school. So in our local area, there was a girls' high school, Willoughby Girls. There was North Sydney Boys and North Sydney Girls, but those are selective schools. So kids who don't pass the selective test can't go there. So there were 3 high schools in the local area, and if you had an average male child, they didn't have a high school to go to. So they would then have to go to Mossman High, which is, it's not easy to get to from where we live, but also it's an arts focused school. So it's not like a traditional high school. And then there was Chatswood High. Chatswood High is 8 kilometers away. Now that doesn't sound like much, but it's 3 buses. Now, if you think a kid starts high school at 13, well, if on Saturday I let my kid at the ripe old age of 13 get up, get on a bus, and travel 8 kilometers by himself, the Department of Children's Services would be knocking on my door saying, hey, you're not allowed to let your child do that. But that's what they want him to do to go to school. So it didn't make sense. And also, I live in a fairly affluent area. And the way that the state government gets money, because we don't have state income tax, is predominantly through stamp duty and GST. Well, affluent areas, for all of what, some people would think are flaws, we pay a lot of stamp duty, right? And so on the lower North Shore of Sydney, I remember actually speaking to Gladys about it at one year, Zach, I think it was his year 4 awards night, and I sort of cornered her after the presentations, and she said to me, there hasn't been a new school built on the lower North Shore of Sydney in 56 years. And in fact, 3 of the schools on the lower North Shore had land sold off, and one of them transferred to the federal government. So Crow's Nest Boys, which was the boys' school in the area, that was the equivalent of to the Willoughby Girls, so you had a boys' school and a girls' school, that got transferred to the federal government to be a TAFE. Because what happened was, when the Howard government was in office, there was more money for TAFEs than there was for high schools. And so the state government just gave it away. Just said, well, we'll turn it into Crow's Nest TAFE. And so there was no boys' high school in the whole area. And then Camaray Public School had half its land sold off under the Labor government in the 90s. They sold off half of its land. and turned it into a block of flats. And now you go to Camaret Public School and there's demountables everywhere. And the demountables, which were supposed to last for 3 years, have lasted for over a decade. They're permanent demountables. And Neutral Bay also had some of its lands sold off as well. So you had an affluent area with undersupply of schools, and in fact, their schools were made smaller. Meanwhile, the area exploded in population with apartments and townhouses and everything else. 56 years, one of the most affluent areas of the country hadn't had a new school built. And that was from Gladys. And she was our member, our local member. And so then when they won government, I was out for a walk one day. It was around that time. I was out for a walk one day, just sort of at lunch. And I passed Crow's Nest High, or Crow's Nest TAFE. And it's a nice school. It's actually a really nice building. And I went inside. And I'm not kidding. I wandered through this school. And so for people who are watching, a TAFE is like a community college. And I just wandered through this school. Classrooms were all empty. There was nobody there. And I found myself at the office, and there was like 2 or 3 people working in the office. They didn't even pay any attention to me. And then I turned around and kind of went back. I was just bemused that there was this, incredibly important facility sitting in the middle of a suburb that had a desperate need for that kind of a facility. And there was nobody there. And then I found a class. There was a teacher in the class. And I think there were about 4, maybe 5 students. So I walked in. I suppose trespassing is what you'd call it. But I walked in. I said, hello. And the teacher looked up and said, oh, hello. What can I do for you? I said, well, what is this class? And he said, oh, we're doing Korean cooking. I was like, what? He said, yeah, we're doing a Korean cooking class, like 2:00 in the afternoon. I couldn't believe it. This is the only class I found was a Korean cooking class. I was like, okay. So I left. And then I went home and I looked, what does that school offer? Mostly like foreign cooking classes and a couple of project management classes. And that was it. And the parking lot was empty all the time. There was maybe 4 cars. So there was a couple of staff and a couple of teachers. And that was it. And I would walk past this place all the time. And I'd be shocked. This really nice school was sitting there empty. And you'd go to their website and they didn't even have classes. They didn't have anything that anyone would want. There's no actual classes. And so I sent Gladys an email and said, the situation with schools in the area is really bad. Camaret Public is brutally overcrowded. You're literally building 2-story demountables now. Neutral Bay has all kinds of problems along the same lines where there's so many demountables, the kids actually now have to play, have recess and shifts to accommodate the fact that there's not enough room for the children to play. And there's no high school. And I said to her, with respect, this is your job to fix. You're now in government. There's no excuse. You need to fix this. And so I said, and my suggestion would be, there's the Bowls Club on Ernest Street in Camaret. There's a Bowls Club there. And they've just sold off half the land to build a couple of apartments. How do I know? Because I lived in one of them for a while. So I knew it was a brand new apartment block that had been sold off by the Bowls Club to build a block of apartments. And And I just happened to know that the state government actually it was the local council, North Sydney Council, owned the land that the Bowls Club was on. And the Bowls Club lease was coming due. And I said to her, you should buy the Bowls Club from the local government, the council, and you should build a school on there. And you should take Crow's Nest TAFE and turn it into a high school. And you should open North Sydney boys and girls up to the local students and not make them selective. And I sent her this letter. And about a week later, I got a personal reply from her via email. She said, thank you, standard, thank you for your thing. And she said, I've spoken to the education minister and the treasurer, and they are going to engage with the local council to look at what could be done around that particular plot of land. She said, I've spoken to the education minister and the federal education minister about the TAFE. And she said, but there's no appetite within the government to change the status of North Sydney boys and girls. But it's something we need to look at because you're right, there isn't enough school places in the area, and it's gone on long enough. And then about six months went by. And then one day I woke up and I got an email. And I checked my email. And it was from Gladys's personal email account. Her personal parliamentary account, not her office account. And she said, and it was very informal, it was hi Sean. And she said, I suggest that you pay attention to the budget today. Gladys. And the state budget that day came out, and there was funding for a new public school, K-6 school, so a junior school in the area. Actually, there's funding for a bunch of schools in the area. And that the state government in the budget set aside money for a high school in the area because the state demographer had said that there had obviously been some kind of long-term oversight. There weren't enough high school places in the area to even meet minimum requirements. And so she did exactly what we asked. And then she became treasurer shortly thereafter. The premier resigned over what is effectively one of the stupidest minor scandals I've ever seen. The premier at the time, a guy called Barry O'Farrell, he took a bottle of wine as a gift and didn't declare it. And he didn't even realize he'd taken it. It was that, and he resigned. He said, I broke the rules. I didn't know. I didn't know where the wine had come from, but I broke the rules, and he resigned. So anyway, Gladys got promoted into treasurer. And so she had the purse strings now. So she was really the second most important person in the state at that stage. And the local council said that it didn't want to sell the Bowls Club to the state government. There was the mayor of the North Sydney Council, a lady named Jilly Gibson, said, no, we're not going to sell it to the government. We're going to sell it to a developer because we will get planning permission fees. So not only would they sell it, they'd get fees for them to build on it. That's how short-sighted local councils are, by the way. She didn't have enough schools in her area. The mayor of North Sydney, she didn't have enough school placements in her entire area, and she wanted to put more people there. 2 and 3 bedroom apartments, because that would, there wouldn't be children living there or anything. There was no place for them to go to school, but, and you know what her plan for using the money was? She wanted to build bike paths in a park. So Tunks Park, she wanted to build more bike paths. There's already a bike path. There's already quite a long, extensive bike path down there, but she was going to take the money from the sale of this land and build more bike paths in a place that already had bike paths. That was her plan. And so Gladys then stepped in and basically put the hard word on the environment minister. And one of the things we have in place here in New South Wales is the environment minister has the ability to overrule planning permissions if the development application is not sustainable. And sustainable means a whole bunch of things, but one of the sustainability criteria is that if you're adding more residential, there has to be enough schools. So the environment minister came out publicly and basically said, whoever buys that land, unless they build a public school on it, which nobody's ever going to do, unless they build a public school, the state government will overrule any planning permission. So basically, the local council had no ability to sell the land. Now, you'd think at that point, and the state government, when it acquires land, has to do it at fair market value. So the local council was always going to get fully paid for it, right? They just weren't going to get planning permission fees. You think that would be the end of it, but it wasn't. It went to a council vote. And the council voted, and one guy was the swing vote, and he voted to sell it to the state government. But half the council voted to not sell it to the state government. It was the craziest thing I've ever seen. The Bowls Club had left. They'd moved out. So now it's an empty plot of land in the middle of the place, and somebody says, well, we're going to build a school here. And the local council says, no, we're going to sell it to developers, even if the developers can never develop on it. So you just have an empty lot of land with no school? Like, what's the sense? It was just stupid. So Gladys just basically strong-armed it in. And then TAFE, the Crow's Nest TAFE, a year, and then they ended up building a public school on there. A really nice little public school, actually. It took all the pressure off Neutral Bay and Cammeray Public, which was great. They've done really well with that school. And then, much to everyone's surprise, not only did they turn Crow's Nest TAFE into a public high school, they turned another TAFE about 500 meters away, Bradfield College, they turned that into the same high school. So the new Camaragal High School, the public high school in the area, it has two campuses. It has a junior campus and a senior campus. And the senior campus is the one where the TAFE is near our house. And so Zach goes there now. And he'll graduate from there next month. I guess, yeah, he'll graduate high school there. And so it's a long-winded story. But the point of the story is I saw a problem. I knew what the answer to the problem was. I knew how to get the answer to the right person. And rather than write posts on Facebook or complain on Twitter or start a hashtag, I sent a letter personally to the person who actually had some influence over the problem and told her how I wanted it fixed. And surprise, surprise, she did actually more than what I asked her to do. She more or less did everything I asked. And more. And so the point of all that is that if you see a problem, you have to present solutions. And going on social media and using a hashtag and not knowing what the answer to the question you're asking is, you're not part of the solution. You're not even part of the problem. Because you're trying to do something totally different. You're trying to make people think you're a good person. You're trying to virtue signal. You're not trying to solve a problem. There's nothing about what you're saying that works towards a solution at all. So the best thing to do is, if there's a problem and you see people who have an answer, support them. Say, I agree with this, that this is a problem, and this is the solution we need. And I believe in this, or I at least want this to be tried. That's okay. But too often in the age of social media, online activism is basically just complaining. And mindless complaining at that. It's, I don't like something, I want somebody to do more. It's actually a real problem generally. There's a helplessness in society, and I'm not going to get into this problem at 12 o'clock at night, but there's a general helplessness in society now where a cohort of people, I'll be honest, they generally lean politically left. They identify problems and their answer is, I want the government to solve it for me. And then it's not, I want the government to do this, 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 and this to solve the problem for me. It's, I just want the government to do something. And it's a plague. It's really, really bad for society. Because government isn't a thing, right? Government isn't an entity unto itself. Government is representative of you. The government is your agent. So you need to tell your agent what to do so that it can act in your behalf. And it doesn't mean it has to do what you want, because we live in a big, pluralistic society and lots of people have opinions and the whole point of politics is the art of compromise over scarce resources and all that stuff. So you're never going to get your own way politically all the time, but you're never going to get good outcomes if the answer is, I want the government to do something. And you don't tell the government what it is you want them to do specifically, right? It's the old Ronald Reagan cliche starts to work into effect at that point. It's, the scariest words in the English language are, hello, I'm the government and I'm here to help, right? Because that's never a good thing, right? Because the government, as the bureaucracy and the government shouldn't be an entity. It should represent people and perform functions at the discretion and behest of the people. But people, and I go off on a slight tangent, I genuinely have a disdain for when members of the government, members of the media, or whoever refer to tax dollars as revenue. Government doesn't earn revenue by taxing me. Get that word out of their language. They're not a business. If the government taxes me, they tax me. Those are tax dollars. And when we call it that, it draws attention to what it is. And it puts an air of responsibility around it. So when the media says government revenue is up, what they mean is the government's collected more taxes this year. Now, I'm not opposed to paying tax. I pay a lot of tax. I'm not opposed to it. I have no problem with it. I happily pay my Medicare levies because I am the sort of person who thinks that it is better for my neighbor's daughter to get her kidney dialysis paid for by universal health care than for her not to have kidney dialysis at all because her family can't afford health insurance. If that means that I have to pay a little bit more money in tax to make that happen, make that shit happen. Like, don't ask me twice. Just do that stuff, right? Because when somebody is sick and somebody is unwell, I don't want to have a conversation about money. I want to have a conversation about how do we make that person whole? How do we fix that person so that their family has their loved one back? Who cares what it costs? We'll figure that shit out. We have a lot of money. and public insurance like Medicare, universal health, it is actually a form of insurance. We all are contributors to the insurance fund, and the government is the coordinator, and the public is the underwriter. It's exactly how private health insurance works. There are contributors, there are coordinators, and there are underwriters. Well, in this instance, the public is the underwriter and the contributor, and the government is the coordinator. So it's insurance, and calling it anything else is stupid. It's right-wing claptrap. So I'm a huge believer in all that stuff. I have no problem in my tax dollars being used for that. I'm somebody who thinks that people who are poor shouldn't pay tax. If you make under $30,000 a year, you shouldn't pay $1 of tax. I don't want your money. Go buy your kids new toys. Go buy yourself a new sofa, or put $200 in the bank. Like, you keep your money. I don't need it. I'm happy to pay more in that instance. But what I don't want, what I won't accept, is the government referring to that as revenue, because it's not revenue. They didn't earn it. It's my money and it's tax dollars, and I paid it. And I expect you to treat it with reverence. And when we refer to things as tax dollars, it puts an air of responsibility on the people who are spending it to say, hey, those are tax dollars you're spending. So be careful, be thoughtful. But when you call it revenue, suddenly it loses its usefulness. So, it's just one of those things. This guy again. I don't know. I need to figure out how to block people, because I'm in the chat, and I'm just gonna Nah, I won't bother with that. I'll just have to figure out how to block them. But anyway. Sort of got a bit lost there, and then this clown turned back up. Anyway. Let me see. If I go here, and I go here. I can't stop that. There's supposed to be a feature to block. There's not. But anyway. I think that'll do us for this evening anyway. It's gotten a bit late. We'll be back again tomorrow. And I'm not sure what we'll play tomorrow. Might stick with Modern Warfare for a while. I'm not sure. There's a new game coming on Friday that I want to play. So we might wait for that. We'll play another day of Modern Warfare, and then we'll bring up that one. But until then, thank you very much for turning up, allowing me to rant and stuff. And we'll be back again tomorrow with another evening of stream and more chit chat and more gameplay. And until then, stay safe, be happy, and we'll talk to you then. See you later. Bye.